Hey, kiddos, what's up? I am in the middle of the battery bank again. Thought I'd give you a progress report. I'm not going to do an elaborate video on putting these things together. Some people find that interesting, but there's a bazillion videos of how to put these together. I'm just letting you know where I'm at in the stage. I'm not going to bore you with putting batteries in holes. So let's just give you a little tour of where I'm at and what I'm about to do, and then I'll give you another progress report after that. I don't want to waste your time with anything, but I'm just going to show you what I got going on right now. And you can see behind me most of the batteries. It's not all the batteries. It took me a long time to process these batteries. I will never do this again. It's so time consuming, you don't even know. There is barely any reward compared to just saving your time and making more money and going out and buying lithium iron phosphate batteries that are just blocks. One of them would replace one row of these. So you'd have to buy 13 batteries. And bolt them together, and you'd probably have a more reliable battery. You'd have a safer battery and a longer lasting battery. Pound for pound, their output's not totally comparable to these. These are little powerhouses. And really, realistically, that's why they're in e-bikes and they're in scooters and power tools. They're not great they are great for power banks, but they're a pain in the arse. So, I'm not going to do it again. I'm doing it for fun. It entertains me. It's kind of just, it's a therapeutic hobby of putting these together and measuring them and all that sort of thing. But I ain't going to do it again. So I'm going to turn the camera around and just show you what I got on the table in front of me. Besides my After Eights. Thanks to my beautiful mother-in-law. Appreciate them. Oop. That's not a commercial for After Eight. So this is what the batteries go into, and I know I had some batteries assembled already, and what I realized is I really didn't have nearly enough of these. And these damn things are expensive. They really add up when you have this many cells. When you're building a small battery like for an e-bike, this is about all you need, just one row of these. And, that might cost you $15 or something, maybe not even that much, $10. But when you need 26 of them, I don't want to spend hundreds of dollars on some plastic things. So I have a plan, and I'll get to that in a minute. But the batteries I'm building is a 13S. So that means, and I'm after a 48-volt system. And to do a 48-volt system, you can do a 13S or a 14S. And what that means is I'm going to put a bunch of batteries in this one pack. They're all going to be joined, so the voltage will not change. So the batteries themselves, these cells, these are 3.7 nominal voltage, right? So you can charge them up to 4.2, but basically, and see, this is at 4.08. Put that back where I found it later. What that means is nominal, they're 3.7. So you build everything around 3.7 because that's sort of the strong middle ground for the battery. You charge them at 4.2. Anyway, getting back to the cell. So each battery unit, I don't know what you want to call it, a cell, those are cells. So I guess this would be a battery, and all of it would be a battery pack. So this will all be just joined in parallel, and so the voltage will be exactly the same, but they'll have a ton of amps. Each battery has 2 amps, and so 2 times 120 will give you whatever. You can math that. Anyway, I'm building a 13S, so that means 13 in series. So I got 120 in parallel, so a 120p, and 13 of these together. So that's all these, right? So each battery is going to have 120 times 13. That's like what, 1,500 and so or so. So it's somewhere around here. So what I'm really trying to get up and running is at least one of these. Now I have enough batteries to build 2. So the nice thing about having 2 is, you know, when you live off grid, if I have to shut this battery down, I won't have any power. But if I have 2 batteries and I have an issue with one battery, I can shut one down while I service the other. So my bench it's a big bench. Like this little shop is a 8x8, but inside it's only about 7 feet. Just ignore the tar on the walls there, folks. I'm dealing with that. So it's taken up a ton of this table. This table's 6 feet long, and it's not long enough. So I have to actually have 5 of the banks here. So I'm going to start populating them. That's what we call it. And the way I'm going to do it, because there's 3,120 cells for both batteries. So I got to do 3,000 batteries. I think I just barely have enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the highest ones. And these have all been tested. And I'm still going to inspect them as I go. And they may be eliminated for whatever reason. If I see something I don't think is quite right, it'll be eliminated. The voltage will be tested before it goes in to make sure it hasn't lost anything while it's been sitting here for a few weeks. If I see that they've depleted, that's why I have the voltage written on the batteries. If they've depleted a lot, if they've dropped below somewhere around 4 volts, because most of them are charged up to 4.2, and if they've dropped, then they're out. Doesn't mean they're of no use. A lot of these batteries have plenty of life in some other purpose. But for this bank, I need the most stable ones, the most reliable, least crappy ones. And so these are the high capacity ones. This is the highest capacity ones. And I'm torn because I don't really want to use them. These are like great ones for power output. These are all 2,700 milliamp hours and up. And there's probably 150 there. I don't know, maybe 100. Anyway, so that'd be good for like a good strong bike battery or repairing power tool or big power portable power bank or something like that. I just don't know, but I'm torn. I may not have enough. I'm looking at it. I don't know the number here. I do know that there's a lot, and I know that it's very close. So what happens here is usually you start at the top, right? With the strongest ones and start populating these right across the line. I'm going to show you over here actually. So I'll grab the high output ones there, the highest ones in the line, not the ones I want to keep, but I'll start here and I'll just run them across through all of them until I run out. Then I'm going to grab the next ones and run them across. And what that does is that allows them to be spread evenly across this whole bank. And with the huge quantity here, because of the way the law of averages works out, these banks will be very close in capacity, right? I don't have to run them through Repacker or something like that. It's a website where I can enter all these numbers. I'm not going to enter 3,000 digits. Actually, it'd be more than 3,000 digits because each number is 4 digits. So, math again. You can do that. But that's a lot of work, and I'm not going to do that. I can just average it out. So if I just run across. You don't want to do that if you're building a small e-bike battery or something like that, right? Because, you need them balanced perfectly. Now with the power bank, it generally sits in the middle. It doesn't have huge sweeping changes in it. I know better than to run super high amperage stuff off of my power bank. My power bank, on its hardest day, is probably going to be running about 2,000 watt stuff. Run a dryer and a fridge kicks in, maybe 2,500 watts, right? at the most. Now I do want it so that, the odd day that something really has to be run, and I have to run a big thing and two big things, right, that are 1,500, 2,000 watts. Yeah, I can handle it. The charger inverter hybrid controller module majigger is capable of 5,000 watts and 100, just over 100 amps, I think, output, something like that. But it'll do 110, 220, 240. So the other thing I'm doing, I'll just show you here. Oop. Oh yeah, I lost all the parts. Anyway, I got a BMS here. This is a battery management system. That's a BMS, if you didn't know what that means. So it's this little guy right here. It's disappointingly small and cheap. Herein lies another reason I'm having two battery banks, because I don't want to buy a very high-end BMS. They're kind of expensive, and I don't think this power bank is going to be in service more than 3 years. I don't know. By then, I'm going to be on to some other kind of power bank or something like that. I might even have shore power by then, and I won't even worry about it, right? So I'm going to go with the daily. They're in millions of objects around the world, little e-bikes and things like that. And this has pretty good draw. This is a 100 amp at 48 volt. It's a 13S BMS, and so it'll be geared up on the first one, and I got another one on the way, and then, but I want to get the first one on. I got to get things running, and then I'll have the other one ready to go. So just to be efficient, I'm trying to get 1,500 of these in, but I have to spread them all out, because if I'm building both banks exactly the same, then I have to populate all of it at the same time. So they're going to take up some room, unfortunately, but try and make it as quick as possible. But 13 of these bad boys need to be zipped up and soldered. I have to repair my soldering iron still. Not my soldering iron, my spot welder, my home built one. I bought one of those, it said it was 1,100 milliamp hour spot welders from Amazon. What a piece of crap that was. Like, there was no way that thing had that much power in it. I thought about ripping it apart and modifying it, but I just sent it back. The one I built a long time ago, it just runs on a car battery. Works way better, and it's still there. I broke a couple wires, so I got to fix it up. So I'm going to repair that, and so I'm going to try and get these batteries on the go. So that's where I'm at. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start loading them up, and I will get back to you when I have them in that layout, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, just letting you have a little update. I know you can't resist seeing this face, and I'm giving you that, so that's got to be worth something. Come on, give me that, give me that, give me that.